we are going to play a little game. So we'll get some written notes. I will read them for you, and you just flow. Hopefully, you can answer them all. But
I love
what
that.
happens. You ready?
Yay!
All right. I know how to create results. I know how to hit goals. I know how to solve problems. What I don't seem to know is how to generally enjoy my life. This is like the quote, right? Why do some people find achievement easier than enjoyment?
Wow, that's a very powerful question. Okay, I think achievement belongs to doing and enjoyment belongs to receiving. Achievement belongs to action. Enjoyment belongs to, I would say, some sense of stillness and presence. And I think that we are in a society that highly values and conditions us to do, be in the masculine energy, and receptivity, ability to receive, is way less on brand at the moment. So especially now with the phones and AI and all the things, we are constantly pushed to act and achieve and do, and not so much to just be. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm depressed." I'm like, "Why? What's happening?" I mean, I don't have the desire to achieve anything. And I'm like, maybe you're not depressed. Maybe you're just still, which is very different. Oh, yeah, you're right. And maybe the reason why you're not enjoying your life is because each time you're still, each time you let yourself be there, you called it depression. So I think enjoyment starts with the narrative and the words we pick when we want to describe what being feels like. And I think too many people are labeling beingness with depression or burnout or lack of whatever, instead of just seeing it as a space, a way of being that allows receiving joy, for example, which can be very vulnerable. For a lot of people, enjoying, feeling the joy is a vulnerable feeling.
Just a random off-topic thing. I'm just thinking of, are we right now, like in these times, a little bit overstimulated by everything what we can do and what we should do?
I think we have stretched our capacity to be connected to many, many things. There is some, I think, new skills coming with everybody talks about the war of attention. Everybody talks about the danger of overstimulation, but I also see it as a stretch, actually, as an expansion of the capacities of ones to play with very different dimensions at the same time, which lead to a pretty ugly form because we're in the transition. But I tend to believe that life happens for us and not against us. So now it looks like overstimulation, over looks like too much, but deep down maybe something is being worked on. And so I'm trying to not fall for black and white way of seeing what's happening with the stimulation and the social media and the AI, and start seeing like maybe there's a gift coming with that we don't see coming, which maybe is intellectual expansion.
Beautiful. What prevents successful people from fully receiving the life they created?
I think that what prevents successful people from fully receiving the life they have creating is the identification to doing. It's the identification to achieving. It's the need to constantly reach the new top, and the boredom that comes into just being there and present to our loved ones. There is an addiction that comes with thinking of something all the time, of having something to chew on, a strategy, an idea, a content creation idea, an offer, a client. It kind of distracts us from, I would say, the emptiness of the present moment in some ways. And so when we learn to inhabit the present moment more fully, we tend to have less the need to escape into doing and achieving and thinking of our plan. And then we can be back at enjoying the present moment and not label it as boring. I also see a lot of people labeling people, they're boring, he's boring, she's boring. And I see that as a reflection of themselves. They are boring when it's time to be with themselves. They're bored. And so it's boring when someone is not distracting you or giving you value or telling you something stimulating. It's boring for your addiction. It's boring for your inner prison. And I say that with love because we're all in the same boat, obviously, with that.
Yeah, for sure. Like what I realized that we're always on, you
Yeah.
know, the mind is always on. We're doing always something.
Yeah.
Especially with the phone, we're always scrolling. Always need to get something there. You know, we need to have something in our hands.
All the time.
We don't have rest anymore. So it's like but nice. I will go to the next one. Maybe it's a different topic. Let's see. All right. The split. I've built a business and I genuinely love. At the same time, I want to write, travel, buy a house in the countryside, host retreats, and create completely different things. The more options I have, the more stuck I feel. It's funny how we go from this to this, right? How do you expect your life without fragmenting it?
So many people, when they start wanting to expand, they start seeing expansion outside of the current life, outside of the current business, outside of the current profession. Most people start to create a split. So I should live somewhere else. I should do another job. I should pivot. I should be another person, have an alter ego. A new ego starts. And we are more and more encouraging the split. And my way of seeing things is to build the expansion within the existing current outlets. So basically, it's the same as I'm not happy with my partner. Maybe I should go for another partner. Maybe we should change your perception, your narrative, your thoughts, your belief system around this relationship first, because there is expansion here in this resistance. And so it doesn't mean we won't break up at the end, but at least the lesson has been extracted. I think a lot of us, we escape before getting the lesson, so we don't receive the whole picture of one situation. So for example, I've been guiding a lot of lawyers, and a lot of them are not happy sometimes in their job. They think of splitting it, of going into a new direction, but there is plenty of beautiful lessons and leadership lessons and expansion lessons and assertiveness lessons and many things that they can build from the actual now situation and environment that they won't access because they just move to the next option. And they will find themselves confronted to the wall again, because the invitation was not a new life. The invitation was a new you. And I believe in the power of the foundations we are building. And so the more we rely on the actual foundation instead of splitting, the more powerful we become.
Beautiful. How do you know when multiple desires belong in the same life rather than different lives? You already talked a little bit about it. It's kind of like reminding me of the system, you know, like they teach you to choose one thing. Don't do too many things, because otherwise you lose your focus on this specific thing. What do you want to be if you grow up, right? What do you want to achieve? We always need to choose. I think we had a conversation before it about it, like, why do we need to choose? Why can we do it all?
Yeah. I think that there is a paradox. To be able to have more, do more, choose more, have more variety, there is a need to accept what's there. What I mean by that is that a lot of people want something else out of lack. So they're like, I want to do that because I'm bored with that. I want to do that because this is not exactly it. And so it's not coming from I'm full, I'm whole, it's amazing, I can welcome more. It's coming from I'm bored, it's not good, I'm a victim, whatever, I don't like it. And so people reach for the next thing before having mastering what they needed to master into that thing, so that the next thing comes without even needing to chase it, without even having to feel a sense of I have to choose, because it just comes. But you have to complete some sense of completion and wholeness so that you can have it all. Because to have more, you need to be in the frequency of I'm full. So I don't know if it answers your question.
Yeah, when do you know?
I think it's really the level of satisfaction you have into your current situation. Like, I'm playing guitar. I can't wait to play piano. But right now I'm having a blast with guitar. I love it. Piano is there. And I would say you have so much pleasure and you're so full from the guitar that piano is like something you're tickling, but it's not craving. It's not a need. So there is a certain amount of detachment, a certain amount of letting go, because I'm full. Same way, I want a boyfriend. There's many ways of wanting a boyfriend, many frequencies in which we can want a boyfriend.
Think it's going well?
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Let's see what is next. Identity.
This is free coaching for you.
Yeah. Basically, yes. My business has changed, my income has changed, my lifestyle has changed.
I mean, like increased.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going down or up, but
okay.
Let's say it's changed.
It's changed positively, okay?
But I still relate myself like the person I was 5 years ago. It can be positive or negative. Let's dive into the negative first and then go to the other one. So it's changed negatively, and I still see myself as the same person as 5 years ago. What allows an identity to catch up?
I think there is a lot of people that are in this situation where professionally something has been getting better. I mean, it looks positive in terms of status, power, money, responsibilities, but deep down it doesn't feel positive at all because the identity didn't change. So they're kind of like receiving something most people want, but not actually enjoying it, because they're still operating from the identity from which they started wanting what they have now, which is the identity of lack. So basically, I lack something. I lack money. I lack power. I lack clarity. I lack intellectual stimulation. I'm going to achieve that so that I get the compensation. And then achievement starts. And because of force, because the person has been forcing its way to this achievement, because like when I will get that, I will stop feeling that lack. I will be whole. And then no, wholeness is not there. So this is something I see a lot. And I also see another pattern where worry was there 5 years ago. Millions have been made. Worry is still there. So it's like same operation, foundation, different results, same shit. So it's a bit a trend to say changing your identity, but I would more say like calibrate the feeling you want to feel first, possibly freedom, love, joy, happiness, contentment, satisfaction, peace, safety. Make sure you embody these traits in your now situation so that when achievement arrives, it arrives with an ability to hold it and expand it and expand the current feelings you were looking for. And sometimes when we start building something, we forget we were building it for these feelings. So we lost ourselves in the way. We achieve the money, we achieve the power, but we don't achieve the very feeling, the very reason why. The reason why I became an entrepreneur is to be an artist, to create, to be free. So each time I'm locking myself into some new framework that feels repetitive or that feels constraining, I remind myself this is not the reason why I did that. And so this is how I take back my power into every now situation. I would say it's not changing my identity, it's reminding myself my intention.
Yeah, I have a personal thing. What reminds remind me of this question and also the answers you give me. I was a professional athlete before, and basically I had every prize you could have as a kid. But at the moment, I was not really enjoying it. I can enjoy my medals now more than when I was doing the specific high jumping and doing everything.
Earning it.
And the funny thing was like, while you need to perform, you're doing something, you achieve, you let yourself enjoy maybe 5 minutes, and then you go on. I was already thinking about the next year or the next thing, the next goal, right? When you become older, you're not really forcing yourself, but you want to enjoy the moments as well in between, because like the moments are gone anyway.
It's integration.
Exactly.
There is this thing of if we don't take time to integrate the actual achievement, then we keep being in the frequency of achieving and not receiving the achievement. So it's like we don't acknowledge the new upgrade, the fact that we are a winner. I see that so often, clients that are compounding wins, but they don't compound wins. I don't know how to say that. They compound actual wins, like they sell, they upgrade, but the self is not a winner. It's still a loser. So that creates a lot of friction, needs a lot of force, exhaustion, and it's very hard to be fulfilled. So what made you shift? What makes you now able to receive it? Because you're not achieving anymore, or?
I think if you are in the moment, it's even with like running a business, right? Like it's the same thing here. If you are in run mode, so you need to do stuff and you know this is the goal, your focus shifts and you're not breathing in between, if that makes sense. So over time, if you reflect on everything you do and also go back in time, even like 2 or 3 weeks, what did we receive? Have like those reflecting moments in between. Then you will realize like, oh fuck, we did something really nice, but we didn't celebrate it.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate it now.
Yeah.
But if you don't have those reflective moments, so for me, like in my sport or in my business, okay, nice, we have a sales call, we close the deal, what's next?
Yeah.
Instead of we have the sales call, let's have a pause, let's enjoy this because we deserve this, I deserve this, and then we go further.
And that makes me think of the vulnerability of joy and celebration. And I think that's why a lot of entrepreneurs are not actually celebrating and not putting celebration as a central strategic part of their growth as founders and business owners, is that celebrating is vulnerable. Why? Because not everyone wants to celebrate with you. A lot of celebration are conditioned, are perceived as party, which means drugs, alcohol, or some form of escapism, which is not actually enjoyment. Because to me, enjoying is enjoying, it's inside, it's feeling. So a lot of people are uncomfortable with their birthday, uncomfortable with making shit ton of money and finally winning, uncomfortable with a big brand, uncomfortable with like public recognition, because it's super vulnerable, because it's true. The more you grow, the more you have to celebrate, probably the less people at first, until your surrounding becomes aligned, but at first can feel very, very, very lonely. And also you can tend to expect some type of mirroring of joy and celebration that is not fully there. And so you're like, okay, let's move on, let's do the next thing, because feeling this liminal space where I have to celebrate, but it feels weird actually, is unbearable. So it comes back to our ability to be present to shitty feelings, and how can joy and celebration can actually be shitty, like this is a mindfuck, but actually it can be. And that's why I also now anticipate my wins and start thinking who I want to be with, what's going to be the setting, what are the type of, like how I'm going to create a system that sustains celebration, and that sustains celebration from oneness and not separation. Which means if some people in the room that are celebrating with me are not there yet, then how can this celebration can also be a celebration for them and compound a genuine frequency of love and joy.
I like that.
Thank you for the
of course.
inspiration.
It helps, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's go. Still feeling good?
Yeah.
Perfect. Nuance. I constantly feel like I need to make a decision. Stay or leave. Scale or slow down. Build this or build that. Why do intelligent people keep creating choices between things that could coexist?
That's such a good question, because it's true that sometimes intelligence is a trap and we go a bit into too much of analysis. We go too much into our heads and we start being like this or that, this or that, this or that. So for example, what comes to my mind right now is content creation. I always thought I was either not enough or too much. Turns out I'm not enough and too much. And turns out the more I own being both and in the middle, the less I tend to separate things and think like I need to choose between grinding more or... So if I really look at my cycles as a woman, but I think it applies to men too, because we are animals. A lion does not run all day in the jungle. If we come back to the animality of the human being, there is cycles and there is precise moments for hunt, for rest, for doing nothing, and sometimes movement is staying still. This is the movement we need. So the same way I don't see not doing as depression, I don't see stillness as a problem if I genuinely believe that my cycles are serving my purpose, my project. But if I believe that I need to kind of constrain myself, sacrifice, make it hard, push, then I will find myself being like, what do I do? It doesn't feel good, but that's what people have told me I need to do. What do I do? And so to me, this type of symptom comes with a complete separation from your own power and sovereignty and knowing. And the only way to build that knowing is being in the body, is the humility to be an animal again. And to be like, maybe there's an order, the natural order. So if I want to rest today, maybe it's the best for my company. And I also see the company as a body. I see the company as a soul, as a spirit, as a vessel. And so the same way a human needs both energies and multiple energies, the company also needs that. And there is a big propaganda with consistency and pushing harder and all these things that to me is just serving mediocrity. More mediocrity in this world.
Yeah, I think you told me, I think about the event you did, that you thought before it would be a recurring thing, and that you thought after it was just
an experiment,
and it needs to stay like that.
Yeah.
This is exactly what you mean, right? Like yeah, of course, like consistency in specific parts of your business makes sense, like of course, but only focusing on that maybe is also holding you back.
Yeah.
Doing something what is even further than what you can imagine, because you didn't achieve that yet. You know, you don't know yet why you're doing this, but it's part of the process.
Exactly. And sometimes you don't know why. For a few weeks there is a fatigue and people are jumping into conclusion. I think I need to go to a doctor. I think I have some microbiome problem. I think I need to supplement. I think I'm lacking something. Like, we jump into conclusion when a human being actually just needs 3 fucking weeks of rest. The same way we will create a new project and we will jump on the conclusion that this project needs to be scaled without even listening to, is it really aligned? Is it really the thing? We said we're going to make money out of that. That's what we're going to do. Once the first attempt showed that that's not what we should do. So it's kind of revolving around the ability to listen and trust that the informations we're getting in real time are actually accurate.
Yeah, it's a funny conversation because like I have multiple I talk to a lot of people about business because like we're running a business as well. And there's so many people with so much talent and so much ideas. I'm like, fuck, you can make so much money, you can really succeed, you know? And then they tell me about their business and I'm like, okay, cool. But do you realize that most likely the thing you will make the most money with is not the thing you have in mind right now?
Yeah.
Because like we think, oh, we can make this product work or whatever, but it's just like a small phase of what is coming next. And I can guarantee where you make the most money you don't even think of right now. It will just happen and you will be surprised.
Yes.
So that's and then you will change your path or go to different directions and stuff. So it's like it's interesting.
Definitely. It makes me think of artistry and creativity. There's a lot of trials and errors and, you know, test and learn in the artistic path. And we don't know why at some point something compounds. And that's the thing. That's the album. That's the season. That's the thing. So I think it applies to business owners. It applies to creatives.
Yeah, but it's also then you don't really. That's also the problem. I think that you know, like there's a small percentage of the planet or the most richest of the world for a reason. Letting that go, like a lot of people are so stubborn. Like, okay, I said this is going to work, so I need to sell this, right? But because they are only focusing on that, the rest is not working out, and then like hyper focusing can also be like
completely
like a
trap,
downside and a trap. All right, let's go for the next one. I spend a lot of time thinking about visibility, positioning, and brand. Sometimes I wonder if I'm focusing on those things because they easier than becoming truly exceptional at my crafts. How do you know when visibility has become a substitute for mastery?
Wow. Visibility, a substitute for mastery. That's powerful. Okay. I will take the artist archetype to answer that question. When an artist is only focusing on how he's going to make his art good and sellable, and agencies wanted to buy the art, usually it dilutes the art and usually it reduces the momentum of the creativity. So that's a big paradox all the time, because of course we need to expose our work so that it's seen, so that people can desire it. But at the same time, it can also dilute significantly the mastery, the artistry, the beauty of what we are creating. That applies to art and to business. And to me, the beautiful alchemy is seeing both the mastery and the visibility as the same mastery system. So, for example, I had a conversation with a photograph saying, I'm focusing on my photos. I'm taking my photos. I don't want to take care of the sell part. And I was like, when you take photos of people, right? Yes. So photography is a relational art. Yes. Sales is a relational art too. It's about your relationship and the trust you're building and the confidence you're building with someone that makes, so the same way you can see the beauty of a woman or a man and find the perfect angle to reflect their beauty or enhance their power or whatever with your photography, you can do the same when it comes to meeting someone. And that someone will feel your mastery, your excellence, and will want naturally to buy because they were a buyer in the first place. They were interested in photography, and turns out you're a brilliant, excellent soul reader, that's you. They don't even need to see the photography. So to me, mastery should serve visibility if visibility is seen and thought in the frame of relationship. If visibility is seen and thought in the frame of ego and fame and whatever fantasy we have, which is okay, we all do have some fantasies, but if it's too much of that, we will dilute the beauty of the mastery. But to me, when we are a master at something, we are a master, period. So it's just to stop separating in the mind the strategic parts, the cell parts from the art, because it's all an art and it's all a relationship art. Because even if your art or your business is something very technical or something that has nothing to do with human being, at the core, it's a human being thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. You want to go deeper with this?
Yeah.
What is the relationship between excellence and recognition?
Okay, there is two type of recognition. There is many, but I will talk about these two. There is the external recognition and there is my recognition of myself. When I am pointing all my attention and focus to excellence, I tend to see myself more in the purity of my intention, the standard of my intention, the power of my intention, and the way I look at myself and I see myself digging into the direction of excellence, which makes me more aware of my own power, my own excellence, and my own integrity, which makes me very magnetic because I need less recognition because I see myself. I'm aligned with myself. Whereas when I seek, and just for a few percent, external recognition, I tend to diffract my attention in some ways. I split myself. There is one part of myself that is looking for your validation. Do you like it? Do you like it? Do you like it? And so I lose the focus of seeing myself. So there's this thing of being all in. I think that if there is one thing we should be all in with is knowing what we want to do, how we want to do it, at which standard, and make sure we look at ourselves while doing that. So that validation can come as an add-on, recognition can come, but not as an inner crave. So recognition and excellence go hand in hand to me. Depends if we speak about external recognition as the condition for me to build excellence, or excellence as the condition for me to feel like I recognize myself, so people can recognize myself too.
Okay, I'm going even deeper because I think it makes sense to ask it now. Why do some people focus on being seen before they fully see their own work?
The reason why many people focus on being seen than seeing their own work is because there's a lot of doubts in the work. There's a lot of doubts, and it takes a whole journey to start giving ourselves the permission to take what we are doing very seriously and to give it importance. And the sad thing is, no mentor, no amazing coach, no public recognition can give you this inner knowing that what you are doing is important, that what you are doing is God-given. It's you're the chosen one, whatever. Like, you have to feel it, you have to know it, and it takes time, but it's a permission. There is one thing about the chosen ones that I really channeled recently, is that we think that the chosen ones are like kind of crazy people thinking they're chosen, right, from God. I don't see it that way. For me, the chosen ones are the people that have been choosing themselves fearlessly, like ruthlessly. They are the chosen ones. They are the ones that are extreme in the act of choosing themselves, which make them extreme in the act of loving themselves, which makes them very close to God. That's why they are the chosen one. This is the free will. Because chosen one can feel very passive. I'm receiving being chosen. No. With your free will, you're going to receive some signs that you are important. But if you want to be stubborn and ignore them, then be it. So it's really the individual power to believe in what you are doing, to believe in your importance, and to build immense compassion and unconditional love for yourself. Because, of course, even though you're important, sometimes you mess up. It's ugly. It's zero what you're doing. And if you cannot love yourself enough in that moment, then you would just conclude that you're all nothing so important and you're back at looking for external recognition.